Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in once again to the dungeon of the Doctors of Doom, where I'm your host, Alex the Shark Sparks, and give it up for Mitch. He's back black. No Vinny this week. It's just the dynamic duo, as it were. But we're gold and silver. Bronze ain't here. That's all right. We'll be all right. Say hello to all the Delvers out there, Mitch.
Oh, wait. I'm gold though, right?
Whatever you need to tell yourself, bud.
I'm gold.
No, what up, Vin? Vin had some family visiting this week. Probably coming to hang out with Renzo, and totally understandable. So, wish him and the fam all the best. But we're here, and we're gonna do some yapping. We have a lot more Olympics to get to. We had some Olympics talk last time. We got some more Olympics to get to because the games have continued on and finally come to a close. But before we move to the Olympics, we will talk a little football. We didn't really talk much football last pod. So we'll talk some football today. A lot of, free agent type news going on, franchise tag news going on. I'll start with the one that I'm sure is closest to your heart, Mitch. We're going to talk some Falcons. How excited are you that your boy Kyle Pitts is going to get franchise tagged?
I don't know when he became my boy. I'm not happy about that. But I was actually the one against him for like 4 years. And then the only reason I was willing to take him is because he was like the last pick of the last round. It's interesting to me that without Cousins, I don't know if Pitts is... I mean, Penix definitely force-fed him for a while. I'll just say this. I don't think he's worth the money. We'll just leave it at that. He's basically an under-qualified wide receiver. You know what I mean? I want my tight end to be someone like... what's his name for the Broncos that... gets like one catch every time. It'll come to me in a second. But you need pass blocking tight ends. Pitts isn't even worth it as a wide receiver. I don't know how he benefits Penix. Not worth it to me.
I mean, he was their leading receiver last year. Now, I know Drake London was hurt, but still, this is a guy that led the team in receptions and yards.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, especially with the new system. Yeah. We'll see how they use him. I'm not entirely sure, but the guy I was thinking about on the Broncos is like Adam Troutman. He's just like always there every game. He makes like 1 or 2 receptions a game. You pay him big money because he just is a good blocking tight end. Pitts is like the opposite prototype of that type of tight end, and they don't work well unless you have a specific type of offense.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think I don't know if Penix is the answer, but you know who is definitely not the answer? It's Kirk Cousins, because they've been talking about it for a while now. They're restructuring his deal so that he can get out of town. What are your thoughts on Cousins? I mean, obviously the Falcons doing this so they're not on the hook for $1 bajillion is totally understandable. But what do you think of the prospects for Cousins? Do you think he's a starter somewhere next year, or he goes into a backup role, just not a backup who's making more money than all the starters in the league?
Well, it's interesting to me that Stefanski comes in and he's willing to now restructure. And by the way, if I read the contract and on the podcast I've heard, but I'm pretty sure I remember the numbers. It was like 31 or 32 million Cousins is forfeiting in order to reconstruct. He's basically back-ending it, so he gets paid everything next year, but that allows him to get cut this year, and the Falcons won't be on the hook. He's basically sacrificing $30+ million so he can go play somewhere else. That tells me Stefanski came in and was like, did not have a good meeting with them, or basically said, this is going to be our offense under new play caller Tommy Rees. And something went south, obviously, to where Cousins is like, I will give up $30 million to have the opportunity to sign somewhere else. Which also tells me he probably doesn't do that restructuring if his agent hasn't already talked to someone else, right? Like, we all sit here and be like, yeah, I would go giving up $30 million at that age, that late. Like, you have to have some kind of, verbal confirmation to your agent. So that's what it tells me. That's what's the interesting part. And as far as Stefanski taking over that team, like, let's not forget, I say this all the time, top 5 in rushing attempts every single year, regardless if their team has a winning record or losing record. Top 5 in rushing attempts. I don't think that's going to help, who's the boy you just said last, Pitts. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but also, he was with the Browns, and the Browns didn't have anything but running, so hard to say. But no, I hear what you're saying about Cousins, but I don't think it's just about the money. Like, it's so easy for us to sit here and say you're crazy for getting up $30 million because you and I don't have $30 million.
I don't have anything
There,
close to
there are
that.
times that you and I probably don't have $30, right?
Yeah.
So let's just be real. So, to us, that's just insane money to be giving away. But if you're Kirk Cousins, you're already set for life. He's already made plenty of money. If he wants a chance to go and play again and, try to go out on a high note, if he believes in himself, think he's still got some gas left in the tank. Because look, like I said, before he got hurt, 2 years ago, before he got hurt, he was playing like an MVP. Okay, I know you're not a big Cousins fan. I'm not saying he would have won it, but I'm saying he was playing like an MVP. He was on pace for a monster season. Then he just wasn't healthy, and then he hadn't played well since. So like,
For sure.
yeah, I think I don't know that he still got that in his tank, but he obviously thinks he does. He wants to go and give it another shot, and he thinks he's made enough money that it's worth it to him to give away $30 million to go and try to do that elsewhere. Would I make that decision here right now today as me? No, of course not. But if I was already a multimillionaire and I wanted to try to play football, because like, look, you can't play football forever, right? Quarterbacks can play longer than most people, and even quarterbacks usually in their career around 35, right? There are some rare ones that go to 40, but it's rare. So, if he wants to keep going, like, it's now or never. He can't afford to just wait another year and get paid before, you know what I mean, moving on, right? So I think that's why he was willing to do it, because he believes in himself. It's really a matter of, is there a team out there that believes in him? Because I mean, look, the obvious answer is Minnesota, right? If the Vikings will just swallow their pride and re-sign Kirk Cousins, they're a contender again.
Oh, I think it's very possible.
So because they've said they're looking to bring in a veteran quarterback, and what better veteran than the guy who already knows the guys.
Well, I
Anyway,
agree. I
go ahead.
I also I don't know. I wouldn't rule out. Yeah, I wouldn't rule out the Steelers either with McCarthy, for sure. But yeah, the Vikings. It's so clearly obvious that it's just like that's like the most obvious choice. Like it's just whether or not. I mean, they just fired the GM, so that's one step in the direction of willing to swallow the pride.
Yeah, I mean the fact like that had probably been the writing on the wall for a while. He was probably the biggest anti-Seahawks person there was.
Yeah.
And then when the Seahawks made the Super Bowl, they finally like, all right, we got to get rid of this guy because he's made some bad life choices as far as our quarterback is concerned. All right, so that's the Falcons news. But we got some other teams that have made some decisions as far as franchise tagging. The Cowboys, quote, are leaning towards tagging Pickens. What is there to think about? Like, you clearly aren't investing on the defensive side of the ball because anytime you get a good defensive player, you let him walk. Why not just keep trying to be a great offense? Pickens was amazing. What's the holdup? I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you also agree they should be franchise tagging Pickens, or do you think they should let him walk and spend the money elsewhere?
Oh, they should definitely let him walk and spend the money elsewhere. Um, One, it's not even just the position; it's also the person. But I'm not in the locker room, so I can't really speak on that, and I don't really know. But like, from all intensive purposes, it'd make me very nervous. You know what I mean? Paying Pickens any type of serious, percentage of my salary cap. Um,
Well, I'm not. I do want to point out I'm not advocating for giving him a 5-year deal. Right? That there's a difference
right.
between franchising. I mean, I get that there's a lot of money involved in a franchise tag, but a
Franchise
one
tag
a
is
one
the
year
top
rental is
five
different than
average.
giving him a 5-year contract.
Correct. The franchise tag is
It's big
top
money.
five
Top five
is
average,
top
I
five
think.
average. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then what are you doing? Basically, you're just delaying a problem. What's going to happen next summer? Let's say you do well and you actually make the playoffs and you lose in the divisional round to like the Rams or something like that. You're going to think next year, man, we have a real chance at going back to to the Super Bowl or doing well again. But then you're going to lose Pickens again. So it's like either you sign him now if that's your intensive purposes. The only reason you franchise something like this is if you think you're 1 year away, is what I'm trying to say. Is like this is just prolonging a problem in Dallas. And you can use that money to start building other areas instead of just prolonging like unless you think you can win a Super Bowl next year with Pickens, then sure, franchise tag him and borrow him for a year. But I don't know if anyone really truly believes the Cowboys are that close.
I mean, the Cowboys the Cowboys' offense is one of the best in football. Their defense is abysmal, and I think it's just a matter of, do they believe that they can, be one of those teams that just has such a good offense that it doesn't matter how bad the defense is. Now, those teams never really succeed. I mean, the Colts tried that with Peyton Manning for years and years and years, and it wasn't until they finally gave him a defense that they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that offense is really good to where they can just run and control clock. I don't know how much Pickens affects that, but like these are, I know, some of them have come with backstories, but like these are just some of the names of free agent wide receivers that you can sign right now that are going to be half as expensive as Pickens. I'm not sure what Tyreek Hill is going to demand, but he's available. Mike Evans is available. Debo Samuel, Shaheed, sorry, Alec Pierce, Christian Kirk, Tyquan Thornton, just to name some. And those guys are probably going to be, someone like a Kirk or a Thornton's going to be. I'm not saying he could be better than Pickens, but he could definitely be better than Brandon Cooks was as the number 2 wide receiver for the last so many years. And he's going to be 1/4 the price. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It depends. I guess it depends on what you can get these other wide receivers for. I guess it would be my answer. I don't think Pickens is worth top 5 wide receiver money. Those
Right,
guys
but
are in.
I mean, I get what you're saying. The difference is all those other guys are guys you're going to have to sign to a multi-year deal. Pickens is a guy that you have the option of, I'm going to franchise this guy for a 1-year rental. So I think it's like you said. I think it's, do you think Pickens makes you contender? And if it does, then you franchise him. But if you don't, you move on. That's kind of what you're saying.
This is interesting. Do you know who the top 5 are that are being averaged out to make his franchise tag numbers? One is Chase.
Chase, CeeDee Lamb.
2 is Jefferson. 3 is Lamb. And then 4 is Metcalf.
Oh, wow.
And 5 is Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, so I mean, I think franchise tag on the wide receiver might not be as high as a lot of other positions. As weird as that sounds at this day and age, but
yeah. So that's going to be $35 million. What do you think you can get Christian Kirk for a 3-year deal? Is it going to be? So I think you can sign a 3-year deal to some of these guys worth the total of what you're going to pay 1 year to. And like I said, I don't know these negotiations behind the door, so I can't confirm anything. But to me, it seems like Jerry Jones doesn't want to take the public backlash. I don't know. Actually, he's never been afraid of that, so I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. It depends on what you value Pickens at, I guess, and I don't know how much I value him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Pickens was a difference maker on that team, but
Yeah,
I guess we'll see, right? I think for a
exactly.
for a long time, people thought the Cowboys were one rider. I mean, obviously they've been a defense away for forever, but
Right.
they've always been a wide receiver 2 away from being a contender. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, you're not getting a better wide receiver 2 than this guy. So
Okay, so what if they go get like Alex Pierce or Christian Kirk? Do you agree that those 2 wide receivers are better than what Brandon Cooks was for the team the last couple of years, right?
yeah, sorry, yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but how much do you think a drop off do you think Alex Pierce or Christian Kirk as a number 2 wide receiver for the Cowboys would be than to Pickens?
I think it's pretty
Significant.
significant.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, like it's hard for me to evaluate a guy like Alec Pierce just because like his quarterback situation's been so janky.
Richardson and all that.
Yeah,
BS.
but like Pickens, with how well Pickens played,
1,400 yards is crazy.
not just this year but also just in Pittsburgh when they had nothing. Like
Yeah.
I think his talent is significantly higher than those other guys. Now, I do agree, with what you said about being the locker room situations and whatnot going to be a very different scenario. I mean, there was that one game where he and CD were both benched for like a quarter or a half or something. So, like, obviously, there's issues there. But yeah, I think if you're not going to find a better player talent wise
Gotcha.
on the market, in my opinion, and especially like I said, considering he's a 1-year rental. Any of those other guys, you have to sign to at least a 3-year deal.
Just hypothetically, let's say you got a 1-year rental from Hill, Evans, Debo. Would you rather have Hill, Evans, or Debo as a 1-year, or would you rather have Pickens for a 1-year?
Right. If I could just have him for 1 year, I think it's Pickens. I think Pickens is the most talented of those guys. I mean, Evans is a better player overall, but Evans is old.
For
Pickens is
sure.
not.
Yeah, you can't depend on Evans being there for 17 games for sure.
Yeah, especially like the last like what 3 4 years he's not finished the season. So
Yeah, so the more like with the coming full circle now, I guess it's just like how much some of these other guys are going to go for, like Pearson, Kirk. That would be my answer. And then you never know if they're going to get overpaid by a different team, and then you feel dumb for letting Pickens go. So yeah, it's real tough, real tough.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes when you have the bird in hand, you shouldn't covet the two in the bush, right? You take what you got. So, but we'll
Sure.
see. I mean, like I said, their defense, they have to do a lot on defense to make it matter, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can do enough on defense to make it matter. All right, let's move on. Other NFL news, I guess they came out. You and I 2 weeks ago had the conversation about when you draft Kenneth Walker. Uh, the Seahawks have basically come out and said they are not going to be franchise tagging Kenneth Walker, which means he's going to be a free agent. So, Super Bowl MVP, do you think he goes somewhere else? What do you think happens there?
Oh, at this point, you just want an MVP, and your team's. I'd take as much money as you can get as a running back. This is a no-brainer for me. You take the most amount of money. It does not matter the city amount of time. Your shelf life. You only have a certain amount of carries, maybe even less.
Oh no, yeah, 100%. No, yeah, he should get his bag. I'm just saying,
Okay.
do you think there's a team that's going to give him that bag?
Yes, I think the emergence in the last season and a half of the running backs because of the high safeties. Some team out there will see the advantage. He's only what 20? How old is he?
I think we talked last time he's 25.
Yeah, there's definitely this is not like his third contract. This is his second. So 100% someone will overpay for Walker, and I will not criticize. Like even if the Giants who want to compliment someone like Scatabo and not have to use their sixth overall or seventh overall pick on what's his name, that running back that's projected to come high. Like if you don't like even that would help you out bigly because then you could save that or someone else can go get Walker and then save their high draft pick. I was just using the Giants as an example because I will not criticize anyone who overpays for Walker in the current climate of today's NFL.
Yeah, I mean I the only thing I will say against that is we have seen that when he is the bell cow, he is amazing, but we haven't seen him be that bell cow very often, either because he gets spelled, he has a lighter workload, he gets injured, what have you. So that's my only I've got his stats up on screen, which I just realized now I'm not sharing with you. So let me share my screen. But that's like the only concern is like this isn't a guy who in the Super Bowl he was great and he can continue to be great, but like when you look at his carries over the years, he hasn't he's never had 230 carries in a season, right? He's never had more than
Yeah.
1,000 yards in a season. He's never had a 10 TD season. So he's not like a guy that you're like look at those stats oh man those stats are amazing. I gotta have this guy. So yeah, if you're his agent, you got to sell up Super Bowl MVP. But if you're the GM of another team, you got to look at his career stats and be like, I don't know that I'm going to be giving you a monster deal.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it now. The PFF post-season grades, where they always do the grading of the players and offensive lines, I tell you about all the time on this podcast. He actually had the highest combined running and pass blocking grade based off their algorithm system that they've used, over X amount of years. It actually went Walker, Achan, Bijan, and then Charbonnet was fourth. So the Seahawks put number one and number four overall this year. So back to your point is, yeah, without the split, and also I don't know how much of it was actually the Seahawks offense, and if Kenneth Walker goes to a different offense, but he's like non-debatable, literally finished with PFF's highest post season grade. Then that's very hard to do. I could go back and list the winners, and it's all like top name guys. You know what I mean? From like the Adrian Petersons of the world to the Todd Gurleys. So it's like the fact that he finished one at 91.4, beating out guys. Bijan Jacobs was fifth, Gibbs was sixth, Williams seven. Crazy enough, Brees Hall was eight, Cook nine, Swift 10. He beat them all. So yeah, I think someone's gonna overpay, and rightfully so. His
Yeah, I mean,
pass blocking, Alex.
we'll
I think
see, right? I mean,
yeah.
cause I just think back to Le'Veon Bell, right? When Le'Veon Bell did his whole holdout thing, he was the best running back in football when he held
Oh,
out,
for sure. Oh, for sure.
and he did not get a huge bag. I mean, he got paid, but not anywhere near what he probably would have made. And obviously he wasn't as good, but that's a combination of not staying in football shape and playing for the Jets, but still.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, before I just looked this up, I didn't know he had finished one. I was like, I wonder where he finished on the overall ranking or whatever. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, he should hold. Yeah. I would use my. What's this cap? What do they say? Capitalize on your current. You're never going to be higher than you are right now for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to cash in while you can. And the last one, the man, this isn't even a movie. It's more like a mini series. It's the rise and fall of Danny Dimes. Middle of the year, the Colts talking about how they can't wait to re-sign this guy. They want to make him their future. Danny Dimes is going to be a free agent. Colts have not. They're not going to re-sign him. So, yeah. So, like, what does that mean for the Colts franchise? Because now they're in the market for a quarterback. And what does it mean for Danny Dimes? Because, like, this year he showed he could be good, but was that just because his team was so good? Like, they had a great O-line, a great running back, good wide receiving core. Like, is there a future for Danny Dimes elsewhere out there? Or is he going to be relegated back to being a backup? And what do you think the Colts do at quarterback since they're letting Dimes walk?
It's funny, you rewind back to that week 14-15 game where the Colts are beating the Seahawks by 6 points going into like 7 minutes left in the fourth or whatever, and then the Seahawks have to get two field goals. So they get a field goal stop and then a field goal just to win. Or sorry, they're winning by like 5 or 4 or 5, I forget. And the Seahawks won on the last second field goal. Like, and that was with Phillip Rivers. That was with Rivers in that game. First game back in X amount of years, right? And they almost beat the world champion Seahawks. I don't know if they're that far away. Um, Daniel, that's what, unless this is where it's like, have they talked to Cousins' agent, or who are they targeting from agents that we don't know because it's, not technically, you can't release this, you know what I mean, without tampering. So it's like, they have to have something behind closed doors, right? They're not just letting Daniel Jones go, or they're trying to resign him for less, and they're using another QB against him, like a bidding war. Like, hey, if you sign for this much, we're just going to go pursue Cousins, or I'm just making that up, but like that could be used against Jones right now. So it could be just actual hardcore negotiations going on with Jones, and he actually will be their QB. Because I don't understand, you're that close to winning, like you are that close. You're not going to go with Riley Leonard. Let's be real here.
Yeah. Yeah, look, that's who you drafted, and like maybe you'll give him a chance, but like clearly you didn't think very highly of him if you went and signed Phillip Rivers.
Right. So, what are you gonna do? Try and go get Flacco? So I'm laughing, but it's not a bad option, right? So it's like, unless you've got some type of Flacco Cousins backdoor talking with their agents right now, you should be going for Daniel Jones hardcore because you guys are close to winning now. The Cowboys are not close to winning now. The Colts are. Now, if the Colts franchise tags someone like Pickens, I can understand that. Obviously, they can't. That's a joke. But the Colts are very close. Actually, it might be the second or third best roster in the league, behind like the Broncos and the Seahawks, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, no, I think the Colts have one of the best complete top to bottom rosters. Like their defense isn't elite, but it's not bad. Their offense isn't elite, but it's good. You know what I mean? Like,
they added two All-Pro players that they only got to use for like 2 or 3 weeks. Sorry to cut you off, Alex. That they only got to use for like 2 or 3 weeks because they got injured. But they added two All-Pro defenders.
no, they didn't. I'm not. Again, maybe bad was the wrong term. They're a good defense. I'm saying they're not. Texans, Broncos, Seahawks level, but they are a good defense, is what I'm saying.
For sure.
And Browns level.
Yeah.
They're a good defense, is what I'm saying. So yeah, when you combine a good defense with a great running game and a good offensive line, and the receiver core is going to get worse, obviously, because Parrish is leaving, but decent receivers still. But the problem is they're missing the key piece, which is the quarterback. Anyway, yeah, so those are the kind of the free agent issues that I've noticed. Obviously there's gonna be a lot more franchise tags, more free agents, a lot more of that. But those were kind of the main things that I saw the last couple weeks. Any other football news you've seen recently that you wanted to talk about?
Oh no, not really. I'm gonna be real honest with you. It felt nice to put down the NFL for a little bit and just kind of get self-absorbed into an Olympics. Even if it is the Winter Olympics, it's still fun for me.
Yeah, for
I haven't
sure.
really followed too much football, yeah.
Yeah, well then let's talk Olympics. We'll save hockey for a little bit. So let's talk other Olympic sports. Any other Olympics that you watched since we last talked that you found entertaining, want to discuss? Any
I
stories you
don't
liked?
remember yeah, I didn't do last week, so I don't remember what I said the first week, but the speed skating was fun to watch. Um, the hockey was obviously amazing. The curling, because of the controversies, became so much fun to watch. And yeah, it was. Other than that, I just watched those couple events. And is you know how like some of our athletes play for other countries? Can we like next? Can we poach Norway's athletes in 4 years? Can we just go over to them and be like, King Klabo, name a price to be American, and just let them be American? Because that dude that guy's insane of an athlete.
Yeah, the Norwegians crush it in winter sports, and yeah, but I mean that look, their whole country is like a snow covered mountain, right? So like, what else are they gonna do? No, no shade at Norway. That's a joke.
Even if your country's completely in that guy is a freak. That guy is like the 0.0001% of athletes. That guy's insane.
Yeah, they had some crazy events this year. So they added ski mountaineering to the Olympics this year. I don't
Oh, I
know.
forgot about
Did you
that.
watch that?
Yes,
So
we
for those who
watched that.
don't know, ski
Yeah.
mountaineering is like a weird like I only watched the relays. I didn't watch the individual, but like it was a weird relay race where you basically like have to walk up the mountain in skis, which like yes, that's annoying as you think. There are random places you have to take it off and take off your skis and put them on your back and run upstairs. You have to take the little there's like skins you put on the bottom, for lack of a better word, of the skis, so you have traction that you have to take off and then ski back down. It's like an obstacle course along the way. It's a very strange sport.
Um, yeah, I totally forgot about that. We watched the what was it, the split relay or whatever. It was like two men, two women or whatever. I forget. And the part where they go up physical stairs and then throw their skis back on and shoot down, and then only the top two move on. That one. I don't know. I get like sometimes, we throw in poker and some other and like some skating events in the Summer Olympics, but this one seems ridiculous. Like a little out. There's no skiing involved. And the other they're just sprinting on skis, which I know is an effective strategy and extreme cardio, but like
Yeah, even in some
isn't
of the downhills, they were running instead of skiing, which was funny to me. And apparently, there's a jump at some point. At no point did I ever see anyone jump.
yeah, no, it's I don't know. I think this was the first Olympics for it, right?
This is the first time it's been in the Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be, I think this one's going to be a ray gun scenario where, well, nothing's ever going to be a ray gun scenario.
No,
My
nothing will
apologies.
ever be match that. For those who
I
don't know what we
apologize.
mean, Google ray gun Olympics, and you will not be disappointed.
Oh, no, you could watch it for hours and but they canceled it because of how much of a joke it was. I'm wondering if the Olympic Committee watched that and goes, yeah, it was fun for 1 year, but we're not doing that again.
Yeah. I mean, breakdancing, like it's so subjective. Like a lot. I mean, and a lot of this stuff is, but like breakdancing more so. Like in skiing and snowboarding, the jumps and stuff. Like, yeah, like you're doing tricks and it's kind of hard to judge, but also it's like there's only so many spins and things you can do. Like the tricks have names. Like you know which ones are hardest and what to do. Whereas with breakdancing, it's all about like going with the flow and matching the beat of the music and like I don't know, like there's just a lot more to dancing, I think, and I don't see how you can ever make that a sport. And then like we said, you get the ray gun effect. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, the quad god was also a little disappointing. I forgot to bring him up. Um, my favorite, no joke. I don't, this is hard to admit, but I gotta admit it. I think the most I'm gonna remember from this Olympics, well, obviously the men hockey is going to stick foremost, but I think actually right next to it as like a 1A, 1B, like a tie, is Alyssa Liu because I don't know what it was. It was just pure. I watched a lot of them during the days, but like it was my 1 day off that week or whatever. I'm sitting there on like Friday and I'm watching women's figure skating. I'm like, I don't think I've watched this in 20 years or whatever. Even when it comes on each Olympics, I don't really care for the ice figure skating part. I mean, I don't mind it, but you know what I mean? It's not what I'm looking for. And I watched all of them compete. I watched the whole 2 hours or whatever, and that was very to watch how they compose themselves and like I forget the other American girl's name who did pretty good, but she was like crying during her whole God, what's her name? Ellinger, what's her name or whatever?
You're actually wrong. Figure skating is one of the only sports of the Olympics I don't watch. So
Yeah, so she was like crying the whole time, and then you watch some of these other girls, and then like the Japanese girl went, and she looked like she was crying the whole time, and you're just like looking at it, and like these girls, some of these girls are, it's like, I think the mental of that sport is way higher than people can realize because they hit this trick a million times in practice, and then you, after 4 years of practicing, you have a couple opportunities to hit it otherwise. And then you look at Alyssa Liu's backstory, you're hearing about, because I don't know these athletes, especially women's figure skating. I don't know their stories at all until you tune into the Olympics. And you're hearing Alyssa Liu's backstory about the father being Tiananmen Square lawyer and out here and then she got approached to become Chinese and she turned it down, not to become Chinese, anybody even play for represent
no, she got approached to become Chinese.
You know what I mean? Sorry,
new procedure
to become Chinese, and then apparently there was some kind of like spy sedition stuff that was uncovered, and you're just hearing this as she's skating and hitting these tricks with a smile on her face, and you're like, yo. This is like what I like, when you get that American feeling, you know what I mean? When Hughes gets his teeth knocked out and then they hit a goal, and you get that, that American national feeling and you're like, wow, this is awesome. I think I'm gonna remember Alyssa Liu more than anything else this Olympics, and I mean that sincerely. It was just kind of all at one time, you know what I mean? It was just really well done.
No, yeah, no, I hear you. Like I said, I don't watch figure skating, but yeah, no, I do agree with you, and not just figure skating. For a lot of the events, it's really hard to fathom, like, when it's something you train for your entire life, and you only get one shot at it, right? You could nail your routine 99 times out of 100, but if that one time you miss it is on the Olympic stage, then you've lost
Yep.
your shot. And different sports have different longevities. Obviously, there's some sports that there were in some of the ski, I think in the ski cross event, right? An American that made it to the semifinals was 40, right?
Yeah.
And that's awesome. But there's a lot of events where you can't, not ski cross, snowboard cross, excuse me. But there's a lot of events where that's not an option. There's a lot of events where your body peaks when it's between 21 and 25, and that's your best chance, right? So especially for the women, a lot of women want to have families and lives after sports, and they can't compete to 40 and then think about having kids. I mean, not that you can't, but I'm just saying, like, in general, most women try to start their family earlier in their life. A lot of them, like, they move on from sports even when they're still in their prime. So, like, you only get this one opportunity, and if you botch it, then you botch it, and that's got to be tough. I remember during the Olympics watching the skiing, no, not ski half pipe. It was skiing, like, skiing big air. I think it was skiing big air. The American hadn't lost a single event all year, and going into his last run, he was sitting in silver. And it's like, that's got to be so tough mentally when you've been the best in the world and when I say all year, the last 12 months, not the last 2 months, obviously. Like, the last 12 months, he's been the best in the world. No one has beaten him at this event, and now the one chance he gets to the Olympics, he's losing. That's got to be so hard on you.
Yeah. It always reminds me of, have you ever seen that movie Molly's Game?
I have not, but you're welcome to talk about it.
Oh, you should definitely see it. It's just the beginning. She talks about like some people say the worst thing in sports or whatever, and then it's like they pulled the world, a lot of nations was, and like one of the most popular answers was like Brazil or Argentina losing to each other at any time, anywhere, blah blah. And like, but the number one pulled answer was getting fourth place in the Olympics. And she's like, F you. That's like one of the greatest achievements you could get is getting fourth place. Like, she's like, are you kidding me? Like, that would be so amazing getting fourth place.
Yeah.
But the world voted that would be like the worst thing in sports. So it's so insanely different, the perspective. Yeah, it's tough.
It's not that when you look back on it, you'd be like, I was the
Yeah.
fourth best in the world. That's amazing. But in the
Yeah.
moment, yeah, that has to be one of the worst feelings on earth.
Yeah.
in the moment. Again, not look. I'm not saying when you're 70 and telling stories to your kids and you get your grandkids and you're able to tell them, I used to be the fourth best pole vaulter in the world. Like that's super cool.
That's
Tell me all about that,
amazing.
Grandpa. But in the
Yeah.
moment when you're like, I just missed the medal.
Like if
That's
we were
that's a
like,
rough
hey,
go.
I was one of our friends, Jimmy, CIF track running. He's like, yeah, I have this record at CIF track, and it's like that's crazy. Southern Section California Division 6 high school, and this person's like fourth in the world, and it's like the worst thing in sports. Like, ooh, come on, we might be out of touch here on this one.
Yeah, we maybe a little, but it's all about context, right? And like
Yeah,
obviously, look, I'm not an athlete. I'm not an athlete, but I'm a competitor, right? I've
right,
competed all
yeah,
my life, whether it be video games with my friends, youth sports, or even now, playing Magic, playing cards. Like I compete when I play, and I want to win. I mean, I want to have fun too, but I do want to win. It does. I just because I'm not a pro doesn't mean I don't want to win, right? So,
yeah.
and these people are pros. They are the top of their class. So, like having to be in that situation, that's tough. Kind of like men's aerials is another ski event. I know I talk a lot about skiing, but that's kind of the
Yeah.
order I watched. And skiing was the last thing that I watched. So in men's aerials, they the way they do it, a lot of these events in skiing and snowboarding, they cut to a top 12. So there's qualifying, and then the top 12 go to the finals. Well, and then you get 2 to 3 runs in the finals depending on the format. So, but in men's aerials, it's different. The top 12 make the finals. You only get 2 jumps, and then from there they cut to a top 6, and the top 6 only gets 1 jump. So imagine being the best in qualifying, being the best at the top 12, making it to the top 6, and that's the 1 jump you screw up.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
That's
well,
insane.
you don't get anything now, even though you've been the best the whole time, and that's the
Yeah.
jump. Also imagine like lucking your way into top 6, and then the 3 guys in front of you fall. So like if you're in the top 6, Mitch,
Yeah.
the 3 guys in front of you fall. So you're basically guaranteed a medal if you just land it. Do you go something super easy to guarantee yourself bronze, or do you still go for gold?
No, I think you still have to try for your routine. I think, yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be real tough. I have no idea what I'd pick that situation, but here, right now, Sid, I think I would have to still try for your routine.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a favorite, you still go for gold. I feel like, but what if you're a guy who's like was projected to get eighth, right? So you're batting upwards. You were projected to get eighth. You
Yeah,
had
that's real tough.
happen to have a
That's
really
real
good
tough, Alex.
you happen to have a really good early jump that got you into the top 6, and then the 3
Yeah,
in front of you fall. Do you just dial it back and go for an easy trick and lock down that bronze?
that'd be tough because at this point
Or
now
do you
it's
think
like,
your luck's going to keep going forward and like,
yeah,
hey,
that's what I was gonna
hey,
say.
two
It's
more
like
guys
this is my
fall?
day. This is my day. I usually don't know when to cash out, so I'm pretty
You
sure
let it
I'd be
ride?
going. Yeah, I might have to let that ride and then be like, well, at least I thought I was gonna get eighth, so that's okay.
Yeah. All right.
Even saying you're eighth best in the world in any event would be so cool. Could you
Dude,
imagine Alex being like,
just saying
I'm
you,
the eighth?
Mitch.
Yeah,
Imagine meeting
you're an
someone
Olympian.
like, oh yeah, I competed in the Olympics. I'm an Olympian.
Yeah,
You would think
yeah,
that's
it's so
so
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Even if you found out that they were ray gun, you'd still think it was cool, right?
yeah.
And
Oh,
again,
I
for
don't
those who
know.
don't know, you gotta
This
go see
family.
this.
This household is very anti-ray gun. We make fun of but yeah. No, could you imagine Alex being like, "Hey, I'm the eighth fastest 100-meter free fly or something like that, or not free fly, just 100-meter fly or whatever, or like I'm the eighth fastest in the world in the 200 backstroke." It'd be so cool. It'd be
Yeah,
so
there
cool.
there are 7 billion people on Earth, and only 10 of them are better than me. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy. Like
yeah,
yeah, in the Olympics, you're not getting a medal for getting 11th, but like being able to say of the 7 billion people on this planet, there are only 10 who do this better than I do.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep.
Got mad respect for the Olympians. All right, lot more Olympics to
Unless
talk
it's
about, but
ski mountaineering, and our American got last in our heat. So,
well, in the relay we got fourth. We were so close to a medal.
oh, that's right,
It was,
that's right,
dude.
that's right.
It was intense too because in so again the relay the mixed relay it's 2 people. Which what kind of relay is 2 people? Give us 4. But anyway,
Yeah,
there's 2 people, a guy and a girl. The 2 of the teams in front of us both had like things that they did that were illegal, and like the announcers didn't know is this going to be a 3 second. They had 3 types of penalties: 3 second, 30 second, and disqualification.
yeah,
So obviously France was so far ahead that anything other than DQ we weren't going to beat them. But Spain, who's the one that had the most quote unquote egregious error, because there's like these transfer zones where you have to like change the skis, change your equipment, or whatever. They did it in the
Yeah,
wrong
there's got to be
place.
so many small
If
laws in
if they
there.
had a 30-second penalty or a disqualification, obviously, but even at the 30-second penalty, we would have gotten third because we only lost by 25 seconds to third place. And the whole time the announcers were getting excited, and I get that's part of their job, but like it was exciting because like they put it like a weird symbol on the screen. Like France had a yellow card, which like implies 3-second penalty apparently, but the Spanish team had this like circle with a star in it. And, like the announcers didn't even know what that symbol meant. They're like, that might mean DQ. We don't know what it means. Like it might mean 30 seconds. Like because again, it's the first time it's in the Olympics. They were just excited, I think. But yeah, if that penalty had happened, like we get the dub. So well, not, bronze, not the W, but you know what I mean. Like so, it was intense.
Yeah.
The ski mountain earring, weird to watch. Like it was entertaining. I'm definitely not tuning into that on a normal regular Tuesday, but in the Olympics, I definitely will check it out if it's back.
For sure.
All right, let's get to the big one though. We've been putting it off. We'll talk some hockey. Got to talk about the boys and what they did for us. So, Team USA hockey, both men and women had absolutely epic matches. We'll start with the women's because let's face it, we're going to talk a lot more about the men. No shade to the women, they were amazing, but we just we know more about the men's hockey game because we watched the NHL. Anyway, women's hockey played against Canada, two best teams in the world going at it, goes to overtime. In the Olympics, for those who don't know, instead of a normal overtime, they do 3-on-3. Hockey's normally 5-on-5. They do 3-on-3, which makes it a lot easier to score a goal, a lot less defensemen, etc., etc. So in the 3-on-3, we score the golden goal. It's sudden death in the playoffs. It's sudden death in the overtime. So we score the goal. Team USA wins. Women versus Canada. And now we get to the men. The men will also be playing Canada. Not only that, it is 46 years to the day after the Miracle on Ice, which was the last time the U.S. men won gold, by the way, 1980. The last 3 times we've played Canada in a gold medal game, we have lost, including the most recent one being when we lost to them in overtime. Their captain now, Sidney Crosby, was on the team then, and he's the one who scored the goal. Now, he didn't play because he was injured in this game, unfortunately for him, but still, like it's recent enough. But yeah, so big rivalry. Last time the U.S. played Canada, I believe, would have been in hockey, the NHL All-Star break, and I think we lost, right, in that game. So,
We
but
also lost to them 3 times from 2002 to 2014 or whatever, right? We lost 2002, 2008, and 2000. We lost to Canada either in the gold or the semifinals for 3 of those Olympics, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, there was like the only time I think we've beaten them in recent memory, there was an International World Hockey Invitation that we
Yeah, it was like
played in, and
18 or
we beat
something.
them.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Where the Kachucks fought or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that was like the fight at the start of the game. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
great.
yeah. Yeah, that was a.
That didn't happen in the Olympics. There was no fights to start the game.
So
But
I'll start off by saying the goal by what's her name? Keller, Megan Keller, right?
yep,
That was fantastic to watch on any men's or women's. Like that was pretty great. It is a little weird to see that being as old as we are because when we first started watching hockey for most of our lives, like there's two line passing that would have been illegal, and that went through all the lines. It went through the goalie's back red zone, through their own blue zone, through the middle red line in the ice, all the way up to the other blue line. I was like, damn, I forgot you could pass it 4 lines or whatever. And also because they went a little slow, it seemed like it took forever to get to her, and then she puts that move on. Okay, I'm like, wow. Even for the men, that's an amazing move. Okay. And then you go to the men's game. And also to win a gold medal off of that move is insane. Then you go to the men's game in quarter 1. It looks like Matt Boldy probably I'm trying to remember. There's important goals that I've seen and stuff like that, but I don't know if I've seen like that's one of the most skilled goals. That was so cool to see. It seemed like someone was button mashing in NHL 2K or whatever, and it somehow worked and he got by the defenders. And not to mention he didn't just get by defenders, he got by
no,
like the crazy top line
yeah,
defensemen. Like
yeah.
that
So
can't
yeah,
have a roster.
let's set the stage here, Mitch. So
Yeah.
Canada's top line is insane. Their top line at the front has the number 1, the number 2, and the number 4 goal scorers in the NHL today.
Yeah, McKinnon, McDavid, and Celebrini.
Celebrating, yeah. So like the scoring line is amazing. Their defensemen also top quality defensemen from the NHL. I mean, which look, there's good players in America too, but like the starting five for Canada is unreal. And the move that Boldy puts on them, just for clarity, Boldy gets the puck and comes into them in a 2-on-1, whereas there's two of them, there's one of him. He flicks the puck up in the air, which normally is just a dump the puck off situation so they can change, and then juggles it and skates faster than skates between them and wins the puck back, then has to take the goalie on one-on-one after having beat the two defenders and scores that. I agree with you, Mitch. That may be the greatest goal of all time when you consider not only how skill-intensive the move was, the players he had to do it against, but the situation he's in where he's in the Olympics in the gold medal game against
That is all.
against
Yeah.
realistically what people consider going into the game as the best team in the world.
And his shot was like one of those where you leave it shots. So it's like he leaves it going towards the left post and then pretends to go back right with his stick, but he's already like left the puck off of his stick. So it's like one of those you have to just like trust that the goalie's gonna slide with you as you move your stick, but he's already left the shot rolling
Yeah,
into the left side.
he got past him far side, which is so hard to do
Yeah,
from that
and
angle.
then on top of that, that's Makar and Taos. Those defensemen, it's not like, oh, they took two defensemen from different teams and they kind of had bad community. Those two defensemen play year round together on the Avs together. So there's no excuse that like, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're two guys, different teams trying to play together, haven't ever played together. They're just forced to play together and team can't. Like those guys play year around together.
Yeah, they're
And he did
actual
that.
teammates in the NHL.
Yeah. So, yeah. The other thing, that's one of the things that will live because no joke, like you can't even pull that off in a video game. That juke move, it's insane. You would have to have like a certain skills, like higher than like 92 or 96, and in that Saturday to even try that move with certain players. And there's only a couple players in the game that have those attributes to do that. Anyways, the one thing I will say though is like your comparison to the, do you believe in miracles? The Soviets. That one was David versus Goliath. This one was definitely Goliath versus Goliath. I don't think. I
No,
mean,
no, no.
yes,
I wasn't
yeah,
making a comparison
not
this game
same
to that game.
year. Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just saying this was the anniversary of that,
yeah.
and that was the last time we won a gold U.S. men's hockey.
So I apologize. I didn't mean to say
Yeah.
you. I just meant in general because we do every network, everything is comparing it to the last time we won gold, which is that game. The Al Michaels was on. Oh my gosh, I forget what podcast I was listening to Monday, or Tuesday, but this morning, but yesterday morning, it was he was saying that this one thing should stand out forever in every American person's mind is like at the end of the Soviet game against the Americans, college kids, if you watch the last couple of minutes in the famous call, why hasn't the Russians pulled their goalie? No one ever asked that question. Al Michaels said that in the interview podcast. Why doesn't anyone ever talk about the Russians never pulled their goalie in that game? Why? Because they'd never practiced for it. They had won every single game 13-1, 12-0, 9-0. Their whole exhibition qualifying and through, they had never even come within like an 8-goal game, Al Michaels said. So they had never ran lines or practiced pulling a goalie. So the goalie, he says, you can't see it on TV because the TV doesn't widen out enough, but obviously Al Michaels is in the arena. I forget the name of the goalie. It'll come to me in a second. I'm terrible at names. I apologize. He's motioning to the bench. Do I go? Do I go? And the coach is like looking for a player on the bench, like who's going to go in for the goalie. And one of the extra skaters, like are about to go over the boards or whatever, but they don't want to get a penalty for too many men on the ice. The goalie's not running it. They never practiced it. That's how crazy the USA beating the Russians is that they never even thought it was in the realm of possibility to even practice a goalie pull, which is a simple thing to orchestrate and just takes one practice and one note from the head coach to be like, you're going in on the goalie. Like, you know what I mean? It's like so
Yeah,
simple.
and for context, every single NHL team pulls their goalie at some point because every single NHL team is down at some point, right? So like,
Yeah.
that's how common it is, like in normal hockey, and how uncommon it was for them. In the movie Miracle, they do address it. Like in the movie Miracle,
Oh, they do. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so if you watch, which I think I had as my number one sports movie of all time, not the reasoning you gave. They don't address like why he didn't get pulled, but like the announcers are talking about like whether or not they're going to pull him. I think Herb, which is the coach, is like talking to his coaches about are they going to pull him? Why are they pulling him? You know what I mean? Like, they do discuss why is the goalie not being pulled here
That's
in the
crazy.
movie. So yeah, let's keep going, Mitch. I'm trying to go
Yeah.
in this chronological order. I mean, obviously people
I
probably know the
apologize.
wins
That's me
already,
skipping all over the
but
place.
no,
That's
no, no,
my
we're good.
fault.
No, no, chronological for the game is all I meant. So Boldy's goal was the first goal of the game, gave the U.S. the 1-0 lead. It was amazing, but then coming back the other way, Connor McDavid gets a basically broken down defense, gets one on
Yeah.
one with the goalie. And for those who don't know, Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey. Let's just
It's
call it like it is.
non-debatable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey. Now, he has no Stanley Cups, but he's lost the last two because he takes his terrible team to it every time.
Yeah. This
That's
is
how
the
good he
Dan
is.
Marino effect here. Let's chill out.
Yeah. Um, but uh, but yeah, he gets a one-on-one with Connor
He's so
Hellebuck,
fun to
and
watch.
Connor
He's so
Hellebuck. I mean, that dude is a wall. Um, and he made the save, which was just epic. Because as soon as that breakaway happens, like they score. Everyone and their mother, everyone in that arena, everyone watching on
yeah.
TV, everyone who he was even dreaming about hockey, is like, yeah, he scores right there.
Oh, it's a Garrett. That's a goal. 99.5 out of 100.
But he doesn't. To be fair, McDavid does kind of botch it. He it leaves his stick in a weird way. But still, I mean, he doesn't score. Hellebuck makes the stop. We go to the end of the first period. Going into the second period, we're tied on shots. It's 9-9 on shots. I don't think either team's had a power play yet. Um,
They get one
and looking
early,
good because
right?
Team USA is up
Yeah.
1-0, right? Then the second period happened.
Yeah.
And this is when Canada took over. And they absolutely peppered us with everything they could throw at us. The shots, like I said, going into this period was 9-9. I think at the end of the period it was like 30-15 in
Yeah.
Canada's favor. That's how many more shots they had. We even had a power play in that period, and that's I think where we got our only shots was on the power play. Uh, Connor Hellebuck, our goalie, like I said, he was absolute lights out. He made 41 saves overall in the game, and once again, he had to come up big. Celebrini this time, another guy who's top 5 goal scorer in the league, he gets a one-on-one with Connor Hellebuck on a broken
Yeah.
play. No defenders, just him and the goalie. Hellebuck makes the save again. Another
Yeah.
monster save by Hellebuck. The Team Canada gets a power play towards the end of the second period, and you're like, oh no, is it going to fall apart? Because they were all over us. I thought that they should have had 4 goals that period, Mitch. Like
Yeah.
that's how much on the top of us they were. But we hold them on the power play, and you think maybe, just maybe, we're going to get out of this period unscathed. Then with like 2 minutes left, they finally bury one in the back of the net. They finally squeak one past him, and now we're tied going to the third period. And after how the second period went, you couldn't have felt good about Team USA's chances, right?
Yeah.
So period 1 looked good, evenly matched. We're up a goal. Period 2, it ends in tied, but we were getting outskated hard. Then we go into the third period,
Yeah.
and the
It
third
seems like
period. Go ahead.
no, it just seems like it was so weird for me because like I know was it Wilson and the other guy, McCabe and even I'm forgetting the other guy, Chariot from Detroit or whatever. Like those guys were hitting us for sure. Like the couple those two couple guys, but it's like Canada's team was so much bigger than us, but we were the ones trying to be physical. It was weird for me because like obviously I'm I fair weather hockey fan, you know what I mean? I watch a couple games regular season and I love the playoffs. So whatever type of fan you think that is, I'm not trying to say I'm an expert, but from my non-expert eye, it was like the USA team was so undersized and we were the ones trying to be physical. And in period 2, like the Canadians are so much bigger than us and they were like playing a finesse game and they really only had a couple guys hitting out there. It was weird, but they seemed complete in control after the second. Yeah, go on to the third.
Yeah. So anyway, so we come into the third, and this is where the game just gets kind of crazy. Obviously, when you get to the third period, everything's on the line. Because the next goal might be good enough to win it. A lot of back and forth in this period. Again, Hellebuck was just he's just a unstoppable monster. Like I said, he had 41 saves overall
And
in
an
the game.
assist.
I'm sorry.
And an assist. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and
That's
an
coming.
assist, but
Foreshadowing.
anyway, So yeah, he balls out, and no one can score, and then boom, a massive play happens. And by massive, if you're anyone who's watching this on YouTube, if you see this gentleman on screen who's missing a lot of teeth, that happened during the game. Canada with a high stick on Jack Hughes. He used to have all his teeth. He's now missing 3.5 of them because they got cracked right there on the ice during the game. And he gets a double minor for high sticking. For those who don't know, minor penalties are 2 minutes. A double minor means he's in the box for 4 minutes. So the U.S. now is going to have the advantage for 4 minutes. And we could not score. We tried so hard, could not score. Sorry. I got to backtrack real fast. I forgot about this in period 2. One of the things so scary in period 2
crossbar
was the 5-on-3.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
in the third period, we had a guy get a penalty, and then 25 seconds later, had another guy get a penalty. So Canada had a 5-on-3. That's when I thought it was going to fall apart. So they had a 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 35 seconds, and then after that, still had more time of a power play and a 5-on-4, and we weathered that storm, which was huge. And Hellebuck was, I mean, all the defensemen for the U.S. I would say the U.S. offensively struggled. Defensively, I think we played really well. Obviously, the most credit goes to the goalkeeper, but our defensemen did a really great job, especially during the penalty kill. We did not yield a power play goal the entire tournament. Anyway, so
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Flip back to third period. There are 6 minutes left in the period when we get a 4-minute power play. So 6 minutes left in the game. 4 minutes of them were on the power play. We were going to score. We're going to win this, right? Canada weathers the storm. They stop us from scoring. Then they have a massive opportunity with a wide open net, and the same defenseman that gets his ankles broken by Boldy early in the first period has the wide open net and just whiffskis. He whiffs it. He goes left. And then the scariest scoring opportunity is the picture that it's kind of going around the world. I know we've put it in all of our chats, Mitch. But if you haven't, just Google the stop where Hellebuck basically throws his stick in the way and makes the save against that same defenseman, by the way. I've seen a lot of great memes. One of them is water covers 70% of the earth. The other 30% is covered by Connor Hellebuck, which is your goalie's name.
Also, I think water covers a lot higher percentage, if I remember.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I have some great pictures. I'll put one up as the picture for the
it is 70% here.
But yeah, if you Google if you just Google the stop, Google the game, you'll find it. There is a picture where, as the puck is leaving Tiv's stick, Hellebuck reaches back with his stick and stops it. And it is a wide open net. If Hellebuck's stick is an inch to the left, right, up, down, the puck goes in.
Or even angled a little bit differently.
Yeah, or even angled slightly any direction, like the puck skips off and goes in. He has it.
I don't even know. It's not really a save. Yeah, it just kind of like tips outward, like a bad offensive player. Always tries to tip the puck. You know what I'm saying, in front of the goalie, and it like goes wide or something. That's almost what it felt like.
No, I'm not talking about the one where he misses. I'm talking about the one where he actually gets the stick on the puck, Mitch.
Yeah, where he's diving back to his right,
Yeah.
and then yeah. Like it just barely taps it and goes to the left side of the pull, right? It goes back across his body. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It slides back through and then hits like Celebrini gets fed the puck at his skates and it goes 5-hole on so he didn't get a shot off.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it was just it was wild. I mean, and for those who don't know, 40 saves is insane in a game. By the way, like that's a huge number. So anyway.
Yeah, but as history goes on, he'll be remembered like Craig or whatever. Craig, I just said remembered.
Craig was the goal in 1980.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we go to overtime, and overtime again. It's 3-on-3. You have to feel like Canada might have the advantage in a 3-on-3 because our defense has been what's keeping us in this game. And when you take away two guys off the ice, you're now playing with 2 forwards and 1 defenseman instead of 3 forwards and 2 defensemen. So they and plus, like I said, we mentioned they have that line that has the number 1, number 2, and number 4 goal scorer. You put that line out there together, right? Like
good luck.
That's rough. But again, we weather the storm, and then we get an opportunity. And then, of all people, the man with the missing teeth is the one who buries the goal to win it for Team USA, celebrates as if he doesn't realize he's lost 3.5 teeth. Literally, if you look at the pictures, you can still see the blood coming out of his mouth as he's playing. Jack Hughes scores the game-winning golden goal in overtime for the U.S. to take home the gold, the final event of the Olympics. Mitch, how did you feel in that moment when it happened?
Oh yeah, definitely. Some, it's hard to compare other moments. Alyssa Nair making that save in the World Cup. Landon Donovan scoring against Algeria. There's some real, it's up there with real American moments and feelings.
Yeah, I mean, you commented earlier that like kind of made you feel good about being American with the Alyssa Liu thing. That's how I felt. When this happened. I mean, obviously, I was super stoked that happened. I was super happy after the game. Like they're interviewing Jack Hughes. He scored the game-winning goal. He actually led our team in goals for the tournament, but he scored the game-winning goal. He's missing multiple teeth, bleeding from the mouth,
Yeah.
having to learn to talk with no teeth, no front teeth, and they interview him. And the entire interview, he never talked about his goal. He never talked about what he did or anything like that. All he talked about was how much he loved his country,
Yeah.
how much this was a team and is all about team sports and team hockey, and how Hellebuck was the MVP. He gave all the credit to someone else, and like that was just such like I just can't imagine being in the moment where I just scored the game-winning goal to win an Olympic gold medal, and I'm giving props to somebody else. That is just such a class act. Like I don't know. Look, I don't know how he is like off the ice as a human being, but based on the interview I saw, like that was such a classy interview. And look, I'm not trying to get political. I really don't want to do a political podcast, but it's the first time in a decade that it's been possible to kind of be proud to be an American. With what was going on, like it's been rough. For the past 10 years in the U.S. Our country's kind of had a lot of crap going on, and the world right now kind of hates us. But in that moment, it just felt good to be well represented by him and our team. And even after the game was over, when they were doing the team photo and they go up into the crowd, and one of their teammates, Gaudreau, he died.
Yeah.
He died in a car accident. His kids were there. They were hanging his jersey in the locker room, and they went and got his kids and brought them down on the ice to get a team photo and like have them carry forward the torch. I thought was just a really special moment, especially when you consider when I say he died in a car accident, this didn't happen right before the Olympics, right? This accident
Yeah.
didn't happen 2 months ago. This is 2 years ago. This is a guy who died 2 years ago, but he was on Team USA 2 years ago, and they have been carrying him forward this entire time and making him feel like a part of the team, and his family feel like a part of a team, and his kids, and had his jersey in the locker room. Like it just felt so special. They talked about how much the U.S. hockey is like a brotherhood, and I can absolutely see that. And speaking of, we had two pairs of brothers on the actual team. Jack Hughes' brother, Clint Hughes, was also on the team. The Hughes brothers are there. We also have to Chuck brothers, and their dad was an Olympian for the U.S. So I think it was just really special. Really
Yeah.
special moment to be part of. If you didn't get to watch it live, you did miss out, but it's still there. Go watch it. Even though
Also,
you know what happens, it's epic.
it's also like, don't get me wrong, our USA men's team are extremely skilled, amazing, good athletes. So it's not like, a true underdog story, but it's like America has not really got the underdog feeling that much anymore, especially in Summer Olympics and stuff like that. And it's like, it's nice to be like, okay, we are the underdogs against Canada, regardless of how good our team is, because that team is incredibly stacked with talent. Like I couldn't even stack my team in a franchise mode in a video game harder if I could tried. You know what I mean? So it's like we clearly are the underdogs, and it was like nice to like, especially with some of the. You know what I mean? It's just like it was nice to relate to that again instead of like the pressure of having to win all the time, like a Simone Biles or something. You know what I mean? So it's like it was nice to be part of that feeling and atmosphere that hey, we are the underdogs. Let's go get them. We're not expected to win, and like we did pull through. Like that's, I think that had a big part to play in it for me as well. But yeah, man, he's gonna. good for him. He's going to live in history forever. I don't think he realized just the magnitude of what he quite did there in Italy
Yeah,
against Canada.
so I got, I mean, and yeah, I agree with you. We were the underdog in that match. I
For
mean,
sure.
look,
Yeah, it's not.
I'm not trying to downplay our ability because, like you said, we
Agreed.
are good. We're we most people would have picked us as the second best team in the world, right? But
Sure.
that's not number one. We were playing number one, um,
Yeah.
which is wild because Canada, went to overtime. I had to go to overtime every game they played basically to get there. So, but anyway,
Yeah, but that on paper, that team is
yeah,
so
on
insanely
paper that team
stacked.
is super stacked. So
That's
the
that's
fact that we
USA
got them
basketball.
was huge. I mean, it's huge, and yeah, also like I said, we hadn't won gold in this event in 46 years. They've won multiple golds in the last decade. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
it's a different
Canada
situation.
basketball. Canada basketball had the league MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but they don't have a chance at Team USA because our team is way too stacked. That's flipped that with like we have some good athletes on USA for sure, some MVP type players, but your your Team USA basketball is this is ridiculous here. You're so stacked.
Yeah. So Mitch, my next question for you is Jack Hughes. Would you trade 3.5 teeth to be the guy that scores the game winning goal?
I've traded 3.5 teeth for a lot less, Alex.
Yeah, but
Okay,
that
for a
wasn't something you would
hell
have chosen to do. I'm asking if you choose.
hell of a whole lot less. And I've had to do it since seventh grade. Okay. So I would do this in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. It is a like if you're gonna put me up on a picture with around the American flag around my neck and a gold medal, you could take teeth out without even me losing the teeth. I'll be okay with it. You could just black them out on, AI or whatever, edit, clip art, whatever.
Yeah, I
But
would definitely sign up to have my teeth edited out versus having them knocked out with a hockey stick.
Okay, well, either or. I'm just saying the biggest issue that you're worried about in seventh grade is the way you look. When you're, a professional Olympic skater who just won the gold, I'm sure you're not necessarily too worried about how you look. Because honestly, that picture right there is going to live in people's memories way longer than if he had a full set of teeth. Let's be real here. It's like the bloody sock of Kurt Schilling. No one remembers what Kurt Schilling looked like that day, but they all remember the bloody sock. They're going to remember his bloody mouth and the way he looks there for the next, 50 years. It's insane.
Yeah, I know it's gonna go down in the legend of U.S. hockey. I mean, U.S. hockey's gonna, just the legend continues.
He
Kind of.
gonna get a statue of him without teeth. He's not gonna care.
Yeah, and it got to be rough being his brother right now. His brother, I think, led our team in points. You
Yeah, no,
know,
he was the better player
yeah,
most of
his
all
brother
the
was
games.
well. Jack had more goals, but yeah, but Clint
Yeah.
led us in points. But yeah, his brother definitely gets all the glory here.
I,
Um,
I'm just saying from the untrained eye, it looked like he had a better Olympic series. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, for sure. No, yeah, his brother was the better overall player, but Jack made it count, right?
Yep.
So all right, let's talk some stats here about Hellebuck. I've been hyping him up. He was the MVP. He was great. Little research on him. He was the 13th goalie taken in the fifth round, and back when he was first drafted, like which is crazy when you think about it. How good he's been. And before I tell you how good he's been, coming into this tournament, he had actually struggled in major international tournaments. Like he's been great during the regular season. He struggled in international tournaments so much so that we actually in our second game in the group stage, we tried out our backup goalie to see if we wanted to switch to him, and he quickly gave up 2 goals and that went out the window. But the reason that's kind of wild to me is Hellebuck has won. Is a 3-time Vezina winner for the best goalkeeper. He straight up won MVP of the NHL last year. When he was growing up, his dad basically did not let him be on a travel hockey team to play AAA hockey because they couldn't afford to do it for both him and his brother. And so, like, no, you can't do it. So this is a guy who didn't get to play youth hockey. He was not that he didn't get to play. He didn't get to play at the highest level of youth hockey. He was the 13th goalie taken. He was drafted in the 5th rounder. He has been the best goalie in the world for years now, and we still weren't sure about him. And now after this game, I'm pretty sure everyone's sure about him at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Good for him. Those are crazy. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I knew all that. Yeah, that's you know what I mean. Like, good for him. It's just I have no words for it. It's gonna be they're gonna have they're not gonna say it's like miracle obviously, but they're gonna have documentaries about them for many years.
the saddest thing, I do feel bad for him. So if you see Connor Hellebuck,
Yeah.
buy him a beer or something, because for those who don't
That's
know,
what,
he plays for the Winnipeg Jets. He's not going home to a hero's welcome. He
yeah.
he he might get booed at his first game back in the NHL because he plays in Canada. So
It's it,
we'll see
that's
how.
the other part too is like the Jets just got a lot of American fans who would normally never ever watch them, but someone like me now, like I would probably watch what 10 regular season games and then I watch all hockey really the playoffs, I'll watch all the games, right? I won't miss one. So I'm definitely a little biased, but if the Jets make the playoffs, if and when they do, I'm going to watch more of those games in intent of rooting for their goalkeeper. And I would never have done that before, ever.
Yeah, and you'll get to see plenty of them because the announcer, no joke, the announcer made this comment during the game. At the start of the game, they said that, Connor Hellebuck is used to playing for the Winnipeg Jets where he has to be the best player on the ice to keep them in the games. And it might be different now that he actually has a good team in front of him. And it's like,
Yeah.
nope, he felt right at home getting peppered by shots. So, shade at
He's like,
Winnipeg, apparently, but
yeah.
that's
Well,
funny.
that's what I'm saying. Well, they just Winnipeg just gained a millions and millions of fans that would never probably tuned in into their game a year ago and are going to watch this, watch them for sure.
Yeah, so other fun stories about this game in particular. I mentioned the announcer. The announcer also made the comment that, because they showed Gretzky on the screen, Gretzky is the, quote, greatest Canadian of all time, which kind of implies that announcer thinks that Ovechkin is better than Gretzky, which I think is kind of a wild take. I get these scored more goals, but I don't know. I was surprised to hear an announcer specify that he's the best Canadian of all time, as opposed to the best player of all time. Thought that was kind of interesting.
What's his name? Eddie Olczyk or whatever. And what's the other guy's name?
They're
AJ. I forget his name. One's Eddie Olczyk, and the other one I forget his name is Kenny Albert. They're both former players, right?
former players, and then but still, I mean, I don't know.
So it's not too wild. It would
Yeah,
be like
maybe he used to play against him, so he's throwing shade. But I just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd be like, yeah, okay, that's more, Peyton Manning not picking Brady or something. Maybe one of those things. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, I
I don't
mean,
know.
Brady cheated, so all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
But
these last two kind of, well, three are not so fun facts, if you will, about Canada. I thought it was funny that Suzuki plays for Canada. There's a white dude named Suzuki. Thought that was interesting, kind of like Scott Fujita in the NFL.
yeah, we have a lot of that though.
Yeah, so that was interesting. Anyway, but yeah, the actual two I want to talk about. Talk about feeling bad. Connor McDavid. He's got to just be used to losing the big game by now. He's lost the last two Stanley Cups and the Olympic gold medal to Matthew Tkachuk. Like that's a rough one, right? How
Yeah,
do you
definitely.
walk into that guy in the street? What do you do there?
You avoid them.
You just avoid him. You're just like, oh, I
Yeah.
got that guy.
It's like if you're Jalen Rose and you see Kobe. Well, you can't. Okay, that's a terrible example now, but you just avoid him. He scored 81 points on you. You just completely avoid him.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Connor McDavid is a guy who is always in the big game, but always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So
how old is he? I forget. I don't want to look at it. He's got plenty of time. He's gonna win a lot, right? How old is he?
I mean, he's older than you'd think. Let's look.
Connor McDavid, age 29. Actually, he is older
Yeah, that's
than
what I'm
I
saying. He's
thought.
older than you think. He's been around for a minute.
Yeah, he'll win. He's so good. It's ridiculous. And our best American player. It's so funny to see how far hockey's come along. I forget which podcast I was listening to that said like if you take three geographical like metropolitan city areas or whatever, like I think it was like Saskatchewan, or it was Manitoba in Saskatchewan or whatever, and it was like somewhere in Minnesota, I forget, in one other place. It's like it counts for like the top three picks of the NHL draft for like I forget, it was like a majority of them, like almost all of them come from there, right? And then it's like the Toronto Maple Leafs will take Austin Matthews from Phoenix, Arizona, or whatever. And it's like, that's how different hockey has become to where it's like America does have hockey spurning from all parts of the country. It's no longer just certain areas. So it is nice to see, you know what I mean? Like, what's his name? Jack Hughes is from Florida, right? So it's like maybe 40 years ago, Jack Hughes doesn't choose to play hockey, if that's what
Yeah,
what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
100%.
Or Austin Matthews.
Yeah. All right. Last thing I have about about the hockey. Again, a Canadian. Someone's a little salty. Canada's McKinnon, who is the guy who hit the double crossbar shot that
That's what
didn't
it
go
is,
in.
yeah.
After the game to reporters, his quote was, "You be the judge of who was the better team." Uh,
He may not be wrong, Alex. He
hey,
may not be
but
wrong.
hey, McKinnon, you know what the cool thing is about tournament play is you don't have to debate it.
Scoreboard.
Scoreboard. That's the great thing about leagues and tournaments and things of that nature where you actually have to play. You settle it on the ice, and we did, and USA was the better team that day. So F you, pal, USA all the way. Take your silver back to Canada and cry, or to the U.S. I'm not sure what hockey team you play for. For all I know, you play for the Coyotes, and you're in Buffalo or Arizona or something. So who knows? Yeah. So I just thought that was pretty salty comment to make to
Avs.
reporters.
I think he's an Av, right? Yeah, Av.
Yeah,
I just had to.
go back to Colorado and
I forgot
correct
too.
his
I
line.
knew. I was like, I know who he plays for, and then I was like, oh wait, okay, I have to look it up. Avs.
But yeah, I just thought that was like, I get that you're upset and I get that you were probably supposed to be the better team, but you weren't. Like, I'm not saying you have to lose with grace, but just like you don't need to make a salty comment because that's just gonna get you targeted.
If they played again today, they might win 5-1.
Also, if they played again today, that guy might get in a lot of fights because we'd be throwing down with him for his comment.
Oh, that's true too. That's true
So
too. Yeah. I think there was no fighting because the Olympic rules, right? They have crazy harsh rules. I forget. I
I
always
mean,
remember
there was a
reading
little chippiness. The one nice thing about this game, so both of the referees in the game were NHL
latest
refs,
one. Yeah,
so they were kind of the let them play mentality. There were
for
definitely
sure.
some penalties both on both sides that could have been called that weren't, which I'm fine
Yeah.
with. I like the let them play style. But yeah, I definitely think fighting is definitely not as
No, I
not
think
as
they have
it's
like
frowned upon in
serious.
the Olympics compared to other sports.
I thought I remember reading that the Olympics has like serious harsh rules against fighting because they don't want it to be. It's like crazy harsher rules than normal. I forgot though. I mean, I'm trying to look it up, but yeah.
And then the one thing I will say, not that it's a negative, but just for the sake of debate, is one of the one of the reasons the NHL hasn't wanted to shut down their season for the Olympics is A, it's in the middle of their season, and B, they are concerned that some of their players might get injured and that will hurt their star power, and that did happen. The Dallas Stars star player Rantanen, he's going to be out for
Yeah.
weeks after he got injured in the Olympics. I still think it was worth it. I still think it's good for the NHL. But out of curiosity, do you think that risk is worth it? Do you think there's in any way, shape, or form this is a bad thing for the NHL?
I'm gonna be real honest with you, Alex. I apologize. Can you repeat the question? Because I was reading the rules real quick on just to answer real quick on the. It's much harsher if you fight, and no matter what, even if you're not the instigator, if you fight, you're immediately ejected for that whole full game, never to come back. And then if you're determined the instigator, you're out for the Olympics.
Yeah. So no bueno fighting.
No point of fighting. So I
they
apologize. Could you
yeah.
repeat the question? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
NHL likes fights because it's entertaining. The Olympics wants to keep it
You
kosher.
keep it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was asking was, so the NHL. There's been two reasons that they didn't want to have their players go. That's why for the last 12 years we haven't seen NHL players
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
Olympics.
I got you. Yeah.
And the two reasons are, one, it's in the middle of their season, so they don't like having to shut down their season in the middle to do the Olympics. And two, there's a risk of star players being injured because the only ones who go to the Olympics are the star players, and then that hurts ratings. And that did happen. The Dallas Stars, Rantanen, who is one of their star players, he's going to be out for weeks after getting injured in the Olympics. So my question is, do you think that in any way the Olympics is a negative for the NHL? Because I think it's nothing but positive for them moving forward, having the eyes on their product. But do you think that in any way it's negative because of things like that, where the Dallas Stars are going to be out of one of their star players?
If I was like someone who worked in the Dallas Stars organization or whatever, and my player got hurt, that would be the only time my opinion changes on this one. There's just no way, even if the star gets hurt, and I'm like, oh dang, as an average hockey fan, the Avs are going to be missing McKinnon or whatever because he played in the Olympics and got hurt. That's not going to change my level of watching hockey it's not going to outweigh the added positives that came from the Olympics or international hockey is what I'm going to try to say. Whereas like I understand in football, like an extra game you might potentially hurt like a Josh Allen or a Lamar or something like that, and then it's like it's a meaningless game for nothing. But then like that game doesn't bring a lot of added benefit to make me go watch more regular seasons NFL games, whereas these Olympic and international play games brings the average fan to watch a lot more other hockey. So like I said to you, is I'm very going to be interested in how the Winnipeg Jets are doing coming up because I will be rooting for the goalkeeper Hellbrook for USA. I'm very much aware Kachuk, that's been for a while now. Hughes, I'm definitely going to watch for, but that's because this happened. Now, let's say you lost one player because of the injuries, but you've gained so much other benefit to the average fan, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure. That's because I mean that's how I first really got into hockey was during the Olympics. This was back when you had a bunch of guys from the Chicago Blackhawks all playing in the Olympics. So you had Patrick Kane for the U.S. was a great player for the U.S. had an epic goal for us, and then Jonathan Toews for Team Canada, and
Yeah.
there were two great players in the Olympics going at it. They both played for the Blackhawks. I ended up following the Blackhawks that season, watched pretty much every single playoff game, and that happened to be the season they went on to win the Stanley Cup, so it was perfect timing for me. But like it was so entertaining to watch, and it really got me into hockey. And like I probably would not care about hockey today if not for having watched Olympic hockey with those two stars back when I did.
Yeah.
And it's like there's gonna be kids that watch this and get inspired, whether it be to go play hockey and join youth hockey, or to just start watching hockey. And like you said, to find a team, right? Yeah, I don't know how many Americans are going to root for the Winnipeg Jets because it's a Canadian team, but you're right. Like if you're someone who loves good goaltending, like and you like really enjoyed watching that, you might be inclined to go watch him do that on a nightly basis. You know what I mean? And might get into hockey and might become Winnipeg Jets. I mean, they're an expansion team effectively anyway. It's only a couple years in the league, so they
Yeah.
will
Also,
eventually get.
2000, not to bring it off of hockey, but I think for like basketball too, like what it did, like I don't think anyone really liked, unless you're a Laker fan, I don't think anyone really liked Kobe until that 2008, 2012 Olympics. And then I think the whole country loved Kobe because of what he did for Team USA. And you have to remember that was after we got embarrassed and got the bronze medal. In 2002 or whatever, or sorry, 2004, and then 2008 and 12 or whatever, Kobe comes back and leaves us with two gold medals. I don't think the country liked Kobe, and then he wins us a gold medal, and all of a sudden, I remember watching the NBA next year and being like, "Dang, everyone's talking about him so differently. Like the whole country likes him now." And I'm like, it must have been that summer where we won the gold medal or whatever. So like, I can only imagine if it could take the NBA's most hated player and turn him into the NBA's most beloved player in front of my eyes. I can only imagine what that does in other sports for average fans like me, who are now very excited to watch our Americans play in the regular season. Like I can't imagine the NHL does not have that data is what I'm trying to say. Like if it's to an average normal person like me, what kind of data do they have that shows them like this is really good?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Mitch. They clearly either didn't have it or didn't believe it because they stopped letting their players go to the games, right?
Yeah.
And then just now this year they're like, hey, we're gonna do this international tournament instead of an all-star game, and that went over like this year last season, and that went over like wildfire. It was great, and then this happened, and I mean this could not have been better for them. Like it would have been terrible for the NHL, and we might have lost hockey at the Olympics if this had happened. Is I mentioned that first of all you should be watching hockey. It's so entertaining in the Olympics. It's a one and done format like a March Madness style after you get past the group stage. And Canada went to overtime in every game they played. Quarterfinals, semis, and finals, they had to go to overtime. And it's like and that's super intense. Could you imagine if Canada gets upset in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And the
We
US
went
gets
to
upset.
overtime against
And we went to overtime in the quarterfinals against Sweden, right? There's a world
Sweden.
there's a world where Canada and the U.S. are both eliminated in the quarterfinals if those overtime games go a different way. And then we might be having a very different conversation. You and I aren't talking about hockey on our podcast today, that's for certain. And there might be a lot less eyes on the NHL because not that you can't be a fan of Sweden and Finland, who would have been the remaining favorites at that point in time, but
Yeah.
they don't have nearly as many big names on those teams, right? Like
Yeah.
there are some for sure, but not as many. So and obviously not as many countrymen as far as U.S. and Canada population totals. So yeah, this obviously I don't think this could have gone any better for the NHL, but it could have gone a lot worse. And I would be curious to see if I'm glad this didn't happen, obviously, because I want to keep having Olympic hockey with the best of the best. But I would be interesting to see if the NHL would consider not allowing athletes to go if it was a situation where Canada and the U.S. get eliminated in the quarters. The finals ends up being, Slovakia versus Germany, and Draisaitl's like the only good player in on the ice.
The only thing I'm wondering too is I don't know this, and I was trying to read it to find out, but it's like I'm wondering if how much is that the Players Association trying to tell the NHL like, hey, you need to stand up for us because we don't want to play these games or whatever and get hurt and be because if we don't want to play this game, our countries are going to hate us. So don't put us in that position. So players union, do your job and fight and say no, we don't want these games,
I
and then the NHL kind of goes along with it. I wonder if there's any part of that.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know these guys personally, but looking at the amount of effort and drive and want they had, listening to their interviews, and like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's a single player on Team USA or Team Canada that didn't want to be there. Like, sure, maybe there's one star athlete that in the
Yeah.
NHL that plays, that has to go and play for Latvia in the Olympics, and he knows that we're going to lose every game 7-1,
Yeah,
and
and
like
why
he
get
didn't want to
hurt
be
when you
there.
have
Like maybe
like
that
when
guy doesn't want to be there, but he has to go because he's from that. Like sure, maybe that guy, but you can't tell me these guys from the U.S., Canada, Sweden, Finland.
but it could be also dependent on where you are in your contract. Like if I knew that my health is going to be the difference of millions and millions of dollars coming up re-signing this summer when the season's end, what if I go play extra hockey and get hurt? I might be losing millions. And it's not that I don't want to play for the USA. It just so happens to be the timing of my contract. You know what I mean? And
I mean,
now
I
that,
think there's plenty of ways for you to get out of it by like being quote unquote injured, right? Like you can
yeah,
be injured in practice and not be able to play, right?
sure,
And
sure.
and just and like no one's gonna know because it's not like you're playing NHL. Like what the NHL's paused when they're at the Olympics, right? So
Yeah.
you can just you can quote unquote fake an injury and no one's gonna question it. You know what I mean?
True. You could just do that.
Like
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby, got injured in the quarterfinals. He did not play in the semifinals or the finals. He was there. He was dressed like he was in his gear as if he could play, but he didn't
Yeah.
play. And no one at any point said, "Oh, I wonder if Sidney Crosby's really hurt." No,
For
everyone's like he's
sure.
hurt, right? And
Yeah,
I'm sure he
definitely.
is, to be fair. But I'm saying like no one would have questioned it if Sidney Crosby got to the Olympics and
Yeah, so
and,
they could
and,
just
and wanted to
play
fake an
nice and
injury. No
fake
one
an
would be like, "Oh
injury.
man, he's faking it." No one's ever going to think that. And
Yeah,
again,
that's
I want to be
true.
clear. I do not think he's doing that. He
No, no,
obviously
no, no.
wanted to
Yeah, I get what you're
play,
saying.
but I'm just saying, like, had he done that, no one would have known.
For sure. That's a good point.
So
Yeah, I was just wondering how much the Players Association is trying to take that out of the criticism. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
no, I would think the players would have fought for the opportunity
For it. Okay, gotcha.
because I think the players who were like on the cusp and having to worry about like free agency and signing a contract, they're not the stars to go in the Olympics anyway because these stars they're under contract. None of these,
Right,
if any of these guys' contract is going to expire, it's because they want it to, right? Because like
right.
you don't let a player go into his last year.
And even if they're injured, their teams would probably take care of them because they're such star
Yeah
quality. I get
you
what you're saying.
re-sign them early. Like you
Yeah,
don't
I got you.
no one's no one no
That's
none of
true.
these guys are in a contract you're desperately needing to keep their contract. No, that you're the best in the world. That's why you're getting
As
paid.
opposed to like 70% of the NFL is on a contract year every year. Some extra games hurts you there.
Right. Well, again, because
Yeah.
when you think look, there's I don't know how many guys there's on a hockey team. There's like five lives, so maybe like I don't know 20, like 20 25 guys. Yeah, I think it's 25, right? So there's 25 guys on a hockey team.
Yeah.
Um, well, okay, there's 30 hockey teams and 25 guys on them, so that's what 600 and something people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's 600 something players, but only the top 200 are going to the Olympics,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, I realize there's more than 200, but I'm saying like of the actual top players. So it's like
For sure.
that the majority of players aren't going to the Olympics. So
Well, also, how many of those top 200, their country doesn't qualify? But yeah, yeah, I got you.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So anyway, but yeah, so that's my Olympic hockey rant. I know I ranted for a while, but I think it's worth it. We've said
Oh,
before in this podcast, playoff hockey, tournament hockey, international hockey.
Probably the best.
It's probably the best sport to watch. It really is. And it's rare that you get a moment like this where you get to see the two best teams in the world go at it with everything on the line. And as an American, have your team come out ahead. Like, obviously, if you're Canadian, you do not enjoy this narrative nearly as much as we do. But if you're American, you absolutely do.
Yep.
So,
Canadians went from almost winning the World Series and almost winning the gold medal to losing to both Americans.
well, they did. Look, they won in curling, and I think that shouldn't count, right? They won in curling even though they were cheating. So they have an asterisk
that's so
there.
much fun to watch. But from my non-expert opinion of what I've seen, it looked like a lot of teams were touching.
Yeah, but, hey, you're the one who always argues in football that everyone's cheating, right? And the Patriots are just the ones who got caught. Well, hey,
Sure.
they got caught, right? So,
True,
you know what
but
I mean?
and if you see that clip, it's the Swedish guy, and he's like, "Oh, f off, Eric," or whatever, in the most Canadian polite way ever. It was like,
Uh, but yeah, I mean, back to the. I know we talked about it before, but like back to the whole like the scandal in curling. It's like I just think it's wild that they got to keep going. So like just as another example, men's ski cross finals. There's a Swiss skier and a German skier, Roenick and Rivets. I think Rivets is the Swiss skier,
yeah,
and he and the German are jockeying for position, and he takes out Roenick. He takes out the German.
yeah.
And it's like he then becomes disqualified. This is in the semis, so he wasn't going to get to go to the finals anyway because like he also didn't place after getting in that tussle. But it's like he didn't even get to go to the like quote unquote the B final, the small
Right.
final to race for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th because he got DQ'd. And it's like because he and I don't know, it was an accident. It was pretty blatant. But what I think is kind of crazy about it is like curling, you get to keep playing when you're cheating, but any other sport you get DQ'd. And this
Well, I think there's
DQ, oh, go ahead.
no. I'm just saying. I think there's some cheating. I apologize, but I think there's some cheating that goes on in with any type of judging as well. That's obviously like inherent bias. You can go into like science and explain all that kind of BS. Like, how can you have a judge and give this, you know what I mean, judge the same on different people? That's also wild to me. But the thing that gets me the most, Alex, is did you see the women's curling team, their last qualifying game against Italy before the knockout stage? Our girl, while sweeping, hits the stone with her broom. And after, basically what happens is the American team captain has to agree with the full Italian women's team where to place the stones after. So now all of a sudden, wait, we're all now just like geometry experts and math majors to where it's like, if she didn't hit the stone, it would have carried with this velocity into this stone, which would have gone this distance to hit that stone and that one. And they're like replacing three or four stones on the field. And I'm like, wait, they're just moving them right now. And the announcers are like, this is just between Americans, captain, and the Italian women to come to a consensus of where these stones would have been if she didn't hit the stone, with the broom. I'm like, that's such BS. I'd be like, this stone's going over here, America. I would lie about where all the stones would have ended up and be like, how do you know? You're not a math major. Like, what are you doing? And so like, the one American woman was just finally had to be like, okay, I can't argue anymore because this is like the judges were like, hey, your time's up. You have to come to a conclusion. So the Italian women just started moving the American stones and moving their own stones, and like the whole board shifted like it was not even the same board anymore. I'd be like, yo, at this point, you just need to disqualify the American shot and make them either redo the shot or just take away their shot entirely because now the Italian board, that was the only game the Italians won, and our Americans almost didn't move on past the group stage. The I think the Italians were 1-5 or whatever, and we were 5-1. And it was because of that game where the Italians just were like, this stone goes here, this stone goes here. And our American woman was like, I don't know if it would have gone there. And they're like, no, no, no. And they argue. And it's like, don't, it's just like five curlers now arguing about science. It was the wildest thing in the world to me. I was like, yo, talk about cheating.
Yeah, we actually talked about this last week on the pod, so I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Oh,
But yeah, so in curling, it depends on where you touch the stone, like where
oh,
on
you
the
did
ice you
talk
touch
about
it.
it? My bad. My bad.
Yeah, no, it's okay, but just to clarify, it depends on where you touch the stone and whether or not it's going to hit the other stones, right? Because
Yeah.
it can just be we remove that stone, you don't get a stone. Like that happened to the U.S. in our I think in our semifinal match
Oh,
and in
so
a
you
bronze medal
can
match
choose that. Okay.
where we touched the stone and we just had to have it removed. But in this case, because of where we touched it and because the trajectory was such that it was going to hit stones, that's what gets this convoluted. Italy now gets to put the stones wherever they want. Garbage,
Okay. So
which
they chose that, right? They were like, okay, we're going to choose the move. We think it's going to hit here, and we're going to choose to do this.
yeah,
Otherwise,
Italy
we
basically
could
got to
make the
do what they
decision.
wanted there, which is shady. But curling is, we talk about like curling is a gentleman's game, kind of like tennis, where you call your own ins and outs. Normally like when
That
they're
needs to
done fair
change.
umpire.
Okay.
It's a gentleman's game, and they were not gentlemen in that particular moment. And I agree with you. I think it'd be real simple. Hey, if the rocks don't hit each other, and we
Yeah.
accidentally hit one, let's just remove it. We lose the rock. Boom.
Yeah.
Like
Just make it simple.
because
Move
that's already a
on.
penalty, right?
Could you
In a
imagine
sport
our friend group?
in
Yes,
a
I.
sport where you get 10 rocks each and the
Yeah.
closest to the center at the end gets the points and you get one less, that's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. And could you imagine our friend group, Alex, playing curling and this happening where like my broom hit the thing or anything? Do you imagine the amount of science arguing that would go into
Yo,
like where
we
the studs
we would
we
score
would be
12. Mitch, if our team was up against anyone else's team and somehow they screwed up and we got to move the stones where we wanted, even with only 10 stones, me and you would score 12 somehow.
yeah, it's like the inventor piece in Catan or whatever. Like what? You get to move one of the numbers wherever you want. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, real quick back to what I was saying about the ski cross. So basically the Swiss guy basically wraps his arm around the German and not tackles him, but basically takes him out of it so he can't pass, which takes away
Yeah.
all his speed. So now the German doesn't get to go to the final either. That's what's crazy about it. It's like, sure, the Swiss rider's disqualified. I get that. But the German still got screwed. Instead of having a chance to go race for a medal, he's now relegated to the small final because he didn't get top two in his race because someone grabbed him. So like, could you just set it up where you have a guy whose job it is to tackle somebody you don't want to move on? Hey, Mitch, that guy's really fast and we're really slow. You tackle him. That way it guarantees one of us go to the final.
Yeah, I can't help it. Is this like NASCAR where you have your teammate just go a little like 2 miles per hour slower in front of someone you're afraid of or something? Like I don't understand how that works. It's wild.
Yeah, like you and I could just have it like, hey man, so we're gonna do this race, and once we get like 3/4 of the way, if one of us isn't in first or second place, which is where you have
100%.
to be,
Yeah.
you just take somebody out.
You just slow it up a bit, buddy.
Yeah, you just take somebody out.
Yeah, I don't know. There, it feels like a lot of these Olympic games are on like the speed skating when they pass as well. Like, there's got to be so much like etiquette of the game going on there because like some of them are getting so close to the other person, and it's like you went on the inside of the track, and now you have to be back on the outside of the track real quick before the turn, or you're disqualified. So it's like I have to move over, or you're just gonna go into me. It's like a game of chicken almost. Like there
Well,
has to be
there
some
there
kind
is
of
a right of
etiquette.
way. Yeah, so there is
Yeah.
a right of way. Like I forget which one it is, but either the inside lane or the outside lane, one of them has the you have to give them priority, which sometimes means you have to slow up and let them go past you, which sucks.
But I
And
see
there were
some
a
of them
couple
that's
times where they did hit, but the thing is, in speed skating, when they do collide like that, they do get the opportunity to rerun the race. Now that still sucks because you're exhausted and you just use
yeah,
all your energy and have to run it again. But you at least get an opportunity to rerun the race. Whereas in
true.
some of these other sports like ski cross,
But
snowboard
okay,
cross,
so
or any of
Alex,
that,
correct me if I'm wrong, but like on when it was like a four-person skate speed and it was like 4 or 5 laps around, I think it was like the 500-meter sprint or something like that. They were some were passing on the outside, and some were going on like the in. You know how it's like a circle and then they have
yeah,
the
yeah.
cones. Some were going on like the inside of the cones to pass, and then they were just getting back to the outside of the cones before a certain turn particle. Otherwise, you get disqueued. So if you're not back on the correct side of the track before you take that turn, you're out anyway. So why would I not just squeeze my way in? And it's like, do I have to let this person in? And if I don't, I get taken out. It's like that seems to me like very. There has to be like that's not one where you could just pick up that sport and play. It feels like you have to have played years and know the etiquette or like the
It's
flow
all
or
about defense,
something.
Joe. You gotta play
Yeah.
good D.
And that one guy, there was a oh my gosh, that what's his name? The Netherlands skater was like 6'5", and it's like you have to spend like three skates to get around this guy. Like this isn't just like a simple pass. So yeah, defense is I feel like a huge part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like in NASCAR, right? You mentioned NASCAR, like defensive driving, right? Like,
Yeah.
it if they're faster than you, it doesn't matter if they're behind you. Just don't let them pass.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
just don't
so
pass. That's why yeah, getting out. Okay, yeah. Yeah, some of that, you know, whatever.
Whatever, man.
I would not pick speed skating if I had to compete in the Winter Olympics. That's what I'd tell you right now. It would not be speed skating. That would be one of the last.
I mean, let's be real. If I have to compete in the Winter Olympics, the only chance I have in anything is maybe curling.
No, I'm
And
not even saying. Not saying.
that's not shade at curlers. I'm just saying like anything else these people are doing on skates and skis and
I'm not even
snowboards, I
saying
ain't doing.
qualify, Alex. I'm not even saying qualify. I'm just saying for the next 4 years, you have to pick a sport to wake up every day and train. Like, let's say you don't even get close to qualifying. It's just you have to do this for the next 4 years or
Uh,
whatever. Like, speed skating is not something I would look for in the morning and be like, yeah, I can't wait to competitive speed skate today and like fly around at 60 miles per hour and have someone cut on the inside of me. Like, I have road rage going to work. Can you imagine the rage you'd have in speed skating?
yeah, I feel like I'd get so mad if anyone ever like took me out or cut me off or whatever. Like just I'd
Or
rage.
made an aggressive inside move that I have to let you in or we both just fall. Like, F you, buddy. After, like, there's some fights in baseball, and after, some NASCAR, after you get crashed, a guy wants to get out and go fight. Like, there'd be a lot of fights in speed skating. Let's be real here.
Yeah, I mean I I could never be a snowboarder just how chill those guys are. They're too
Yeah.
chill. I could never like like the guy that gets taken out, like he's upset for like 30 seconds and he's over it. Like no man, I'd be so mad. Like you just ruined my Olympics.
The one girl who was our female skater, oh my gosh, I'm terrible with names, but she was like our youngest Olympian out of any event. It just the youngest one. She was like 15 or 16 snowboarder, and she'd be at the top of the hill, and she was like doing her routine in her head, but she was like moving her body at the same time. You know what I'm talking about? And
Uh,
she'd be like when she was up in the air, she'd like be like wee and come down. She was like just like simulating it before she did the jump. I thought that was pretty cute or whatever, pretty cool. She was just like. Just like, could you imagine the how chill some of the snowboarders are? And then you're like 15-year-old snowboarder at the Olympics. You're pretty chill.
yeah,
Uh,
you gotta be chill, bro.
if someone said for the next 4 years, which sport would you? I mean, hockey would probably be the obvious because waking up and going to play hockey at a rink would be a lot of fun. But like,
I mean,
is there any?
it would be a lot of fun, but the flip side of that is like I don't want to lose all my teeth.
Yeah, I
So,
think curling's the answer, right? Because we're not picking Nordic cross country. F that.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, curling might be the. But hey, they work up a sweat with those sweeps, man. You know, you gotta do some sweeping in curling, but yeah, I mean,
The
first of all, in most Olympic sports are very, very energy like require a lot of energy, right? It's,
bobsled.
I mean, yeah, but dude, bobsled's scary as hell. I don't want to be anywhere near a
Yeah, but
bobsled.
for the next 4 years, going down some bobsled tracks wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I don't know. You got to walk back up to the top. I don't think there's an elevator. So
That's true too. It's better than training for ski mountaineering.
yeah, I'm definitely not doing ski mountaineering
You can do 10,000 steps a day, no thing, or 20,000.
or ski jumping.
Yeah. The downhill slalom, the one where they go 90, the men, like the women and men go anywhere from like 75 to 90. That's the last. There's
Did
just no way.
did you
There's just
watch?
no
Did you
way.
watch any of the moguls? The moguls event?
Yeah, I watched most of all the Olympic. Yeah, I watched the
Like
moguls.
my knees, my own knees were falling off just watching those guys go boom, 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 like the way their knees.
I like the one where they do the moguls and then they have the person next to them and you're only competing against the person
Yeah,
next to you and you do
dual
like two
moguls. That's
tricks.
the one I'm about to.
Yeah, that one seemed pretty cool to watch this year.
Yeah.
That's pretty new.
Oh no, it was super cool to watch. The only, well, I didn't mean this is a video of them crashing, which is what I want to see. But the only like problem I have with the whole dual moguls setup was I didn't like the fact that it wasn't just fastest to the bottom wins because like they have to stop and do like aerial flip tricks. So like
Yeah,
that's you're judged on that. You're judged on how well your knees are together. So like as a
missing the game. Like, I don't know if you can just go out here and practice 1,000 times on moguls. You
no,
might
for
have
sure,
no
and
knees.
and they talked about it too, right? So you know, the day of the competition, like the day of the finals, you have to do it 5 times that day.
Oh,
So
jeez.
by the time you're doing your finals run, you are spent.
Jeez. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, but hey, love the game, man, love the game.
Congrats, Norway. We still
Yeah,
beat
so
Italy.
bring up the medal count. Got to give prop to Norway. Most medals and most golds. U.S. Set our own personal best though. This is the most golds the U.S. has ever won at the Winter Olympics. Six of them
Yep,
came from women. That's the most our women have ever got at the Winter Olympics. So we had a great Olympics for sure. But Norway
definitely.
just balled out. Here's the overall list.
This is their fourth year in a row, or fourth Olympics in a row. Sorry, right?
Who's For what?
Norway's.
Oh,
This is
being
their
the
fourth.
top medal.
Yeah, most golds and top
I
medals.
mean, they pretty much win cross country skiing. Pretty much every event goes to either Norway or France. So
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised France is not higher on this list. But I guess they had to split some of those. I know Italy had some surprise wins, which always happens when you're the host nation. Like I'm really stoked for the Summer Olympics for us because like usually the host nation gets a bump in medals, and when you're already one of the countries that gets the most medals, what's a bump gonna do to that country? You know what I mean?
A bump for the USA is going to be huge, especially in track because like those fields, there's very home field advantage to all those tracks. It's going to be crazy.
So let's see.
Netherlands
Who
gets
brought
all
up the
theirs in
rear?
skating.
Belgium brought up the rear with a single bronze.
A
It's
single
crazy how good
bronze.
Norway. Like when you think about
That
where,
guy's a hero, or that girl's a hero when they go home to Belgium.
dude. But it's crazy when you think about like so when you think about where Norway is on the map compared to Denmark, and Denmark only got one silver, but Norway got 41 medals. Like what's happening here, guys? You know,
What's their little
like
isle of ocean
Sweden,
that
Switzerland,
separates
and
them?
Norway all right next to each other, and then like Denmark is slightly next to them. It's like I guess Denmark's just far enough south they don't get the snow. Like what's happening here? So
They're not across the water. Well, Swiss is. You're right. Yeah, that is confusing. I don't know.
so, but yeah,
Well, the
good
Netherlands
Olympics.
probably got all theirs in speed skating too, so that's interesting. They probably got like out of their 10, I bet you like 8 of them were in speed skating.
To the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, yeah. So that's our Olympic talk. Any final thoughts about the Olympics, Mitch? Any other Olympic events we didn't talk about that you wanted to discuss?
No, nope. I think that carried everything. Congrats, Alyssa, Lou. Very, very awesome.
I mean, congrats to everyone who took home a medal and got to compete. I mean, it was awesome to watch. It was so entertaining, and you know what? It's wild how much of a fan you become of something every 4 years. Like
Yeah.
biathlon is the most popular winter sport in Europe. Um, and it is my favorite sport to watch during the Olympics. I watched every single event, men's and women's. So, you know, I really enjoy it. I can't tell you that I'm going to go out and be watching biathlon every weekend because I'm not. But every four
No.
years, this guy's a massive biathlon fan, and I think that's one of the cool things about the Olympics. Like, you go into it and you're only a fan of like one specific thing. Like of all the winter sports, like I'm probably only ever going to actually sit down and watch a hockey game and maybe like an X Games halfpipe competition for snowboarding. Those are probably the only two things that I would actually watch on a regular basis. But
Yeah.
on the Olympics, like you said, I watched everything. I watched ski mountaineering for God's sakes,
Yeah, that was great.
and I'd watch it again. I'll tell you right now, 4 years from now, if ski mountaineering is an event in France when they have the next Olympics, I'm watching it because it's
I
entertaining.
agree.
It's fun. So yeah, everything's still up on Peacock. If you haven't gotten your fix yet, go get it because no telling when it goes away. But man, it's fun to watch, and it's
Thank
fun to root
goodness
for
we
your
have
country.
World Cup coming up, and then we got football again.
Yeah, going into a little bit of a dead zone now, but got some big things on the horizon. Makes you wonder though, Mitch.
World
Like obviously,
Cup.
I love the Olympics because of how good the U.S. does. I mean, we're always one of the top, three nations in medals in summer and winter. If you were a nation like a Latvia or Bulgaria who only gets a couple of medals, are you still as interested in everything?
Yeah, you might even be more interested in the one or two events that you actually have a chance to compete. Whereas we're just like all over the place, spread like watch this weather because do we have an American in this event? Whereas the smaller nations might already know, like, you know what I mean? Their actual athletes.
They know who the guys are before going in, whereas we're like, oh,
Right,
cool,
right.
there's
That's
an
what I'm
American.
saying.
I got
So
you.
exactly. So it
Yeah, for
might
sure.
be actually even a
There were
little bit
definitely some
more.
finals I turned on like, oh sweet, there's an American in this final. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'd root
Yeah.
for the American.
Yeah. We're a little spoiled, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
But that
definitely.
doesn't mean our audience doesn't love the Olympics. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right then. Yeah. So not sure what we'll talk about next week because, like I said, it's going into the dead zone for football up until we start ramping into the draft. I know Mel Kiper did a mock draft on SportsCenter today, but we're not about to cover Mel Kiper's mock draft. That's not going to be fun. But we'll come up with a fun topic to talk about. It'll obviously, sports related in some way, shape, or form. Hope you guys have enjoyed our Olympics coverage. Look, I don't know if it was great, but it was definitely better than NBC. I think we can all agree with that.
oh gosh.
Any final thoughts, Mitch, before we say goodbye to the Delvers out there on
Yeah,
anything that the Olympics could be anything?
find someone who's willing to go through the replays and edit out the drone noise, please.
Yeah. The drone noise is rough, but it was worth it, man. The Olympics is great.
Beast games, they use a million drone shots. You can see the drones in a lot of the games that they're playing, and I've never heard a drone in 2 seasons of Beast games. Come on, people, get it
Yeah,
together.
if a YouTuber can edit out drone noise, surely
NBC's
the
Olympic
National
coverage.
Broadcasting Company can edit
Yeah,
out some drone noise. Um,
for sure.
I'm probably gonna go watch Miracle after this. Not sure about you, Mitch, but
Watch Molly's game. It's
I
pretty
want
good
to see
too.
more hockey.
Yeah, Molly's game is pretty good too. You said you haven't seen it. I suggest that it's not necessarily all about sports, but it's got poker in there too. So, but it's very good to watch. And then trying to guess who the Molly's games tries to keep the real people's names hidden, but it's the people in it are like big name celebrities or whatever, and it's fun guessing like, oh, this person's clearly so and so, or this person's clearly, what I'm trying to say. Well, I don't want to ruin
Yeah,
it for you,
yeah. I
but
get what you're
like,
saying.
okay, cool. It's I strongly like the first time I'm envious of you that you haven't seen it yet. Go watch it. You'll enjoy it.
All right, well then that's gonna be the pod for this week. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the Olympics, and hope you enjoyed us talking about it. And if you didn't, then I'm really not sure why you just spent an hour and 50 minutes of your time listening. But thank you anyway. And yeah, say goodbye to the Delvers out there. We outie.
See ya.